15 differences between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Hello Aluxers, welcome back. Today we're looking at two of our favorite business leaders, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And we have to admit, they do have a lot in common. They're both billionaires. They're among the world's most talked about CEOs and figureheads of two of the world's most innovative tech companies, Tesla and Amazon. And as the race to get to space hits the headlines more and more often, something else that links them is they're both founders of companies that aim to explore the final frontier. But with so many things in common, we have to ask, what sets them apart? Hey Luxers, here's our list of 15 differences between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Number 1. Jeff Bezos is all-American. Elon Musk has 3 nationalities. Born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jeff Bezos is every bit as American as the apple pie. Elon Musk, however, is from Pretoria, South Africa, but he became a Canadian citizen at the age of 17, with a little help from his mother, as she's from Canada. After studying in Canada for 3 years, he moved to the USA, where he's lived ever since, becoming an American citizen in 2002. Elon has talked about how grateful he is for the USA to allow him to achieve his goals, saying that it would have been harder to do what he's done anywhere else, and he's gone as far as calling the USA the greatest country that ever existed on Earth. Number 2. Elon had a tough childhood. Jeff had a happy one. Both of them got good grades in school, but beyond that, they seem to have been very different as kids. Jeff appears to have been very confident from an early age and made the farewell speech at his high school graduation ceremony, whereas Elon has spoken about how badly he was bullied as a child, once even being thrown down a flight of stairs, after which he lost consciousness. But something they both had in common was they started creating things at an early age. Elon taught himself computer programming at the age of 12, where he created a video game which sold for $500. And Jeff came up with so many inventions, he turned the family garage into his own science and electronics laboratory. Number 3. Elon set up his own business ventures straight away after graduating. Jeff waited a while. Elon's first steps into the world of business happened almost as soon as he finished his studies. In fact, he dropped out of a PhD course after 2 days to cash in on the internet boom. He co-founded software company Zip2 with his brother Kimball. It became the first of a series of hugely successful ventures. Jeff, on the other hand, spent the first 9 years of his career working in tech and finance, including Wall Street hedge fund D.E. Shaw & Co. After that, he had the idea of setting up Amazon. And while he did start Amazon in a garage, it wasn't his parents' or his friend's garage. It was the garage in his own house that he bought with about a decade's worth of corporate paychecks. Number 4. Jeff founded Amazon and got other people to fund it. Elon didn't found Tesla, but he did fund it. Let's take a look at the giants of the tech world that Jeff and Elon are best known for, Amazon and Tesla. Their earliest involvement with these companies happened in ways that were basically the opposite of each other. To start Amazon, Jeff did use some of his own money, but he had to look for most of it from other sources. He held around 60 meetings with potential investors to secure the funding and received $300,000 from his partners. Years later, his parents are now billionaires too. Elon, on the other hand, wasn't actually a founder of Tesla, although he did come on board less than a year after it was created. He used money he'd made from selling his previous companies to provide 98% of Tesla's funding. This helped to give the company the kickstart it needed. Number 5. Jeff's main company is a lot bigger than Elon's. True, Tesla is an incredible innovator and it's the world's biggest manufacturer of plug-in passenger cars. And if you put all its shares together, it's worth something in the region of $135 billion. A very respectable figure, but it doesn't even come close to Amazon. That's because the internet retail giant is currently worth slightly over $1 trillion, around 7.5 times the value of Tesla. Number 6. When it comes to colonizing space, they have different approaches. We've already mentioned that both of these super entrepreneurs own space exploration companies. Elon's SpaceX and Jeff's Blue Origin both make rockets, and they've both sent unmanned flights to space. But when it comes to their visions of what they actually want to do there, they're pretty different. Elon's main goal is to set up a self-sufficient colony on Mars and to have 1 million people living there by the end of the century. Jeff, on the other hand, isn't interested in settling humans on Mars. His vision revolves around setting up a space station on the Moon, which he hopes to use as a base to explore the solar system. He's also stated that he thinks one day in the distant future, there'll be 1 trillion people living in floating space colonies across the solar system, with the materials coming from different planets. Is this starting to sound a bit too far out? Well, to be fair, he doesn't expect to see it in his lifetime. He stated it's a long-term goal for humanity. It's also worth pointing out that Elon has gone into more specific details about how he plans to proceed into space, and his company SpaceX has made more progress. Most famously, in 2018, he launched the Falcon Heavy super rocket into space with his own Tesla Roadster attached to it and David Bowie's song Space Oddity playing on a loop. The Falcon Heavy's final destination is, of course, the red planet Mars. Number 7. They're both committed to renewable energy, but Elon is the real leader in this field. Elon and Jeff are on the same side when it comes to the fight against climate change, but their levels of involvement are definitely different. Amazon gets about 40% of its energy from renewable sources and even has its own wind farms, and Jeff has said he aims for Amazon's delivery vehicles to totally switch to renewable energy and for the company to be carbon neutral by 2040. But Elon's commitment is on a totally different level. That's because Tesla is all about combating the negative effects of climate change. And SolarCity, a subsidiary of Tesla that makes solar panels, is the largest solar power installation company in the USA. Tesla also installed the world's largest renewable energy pack in Australia. So when it comes to renewable energy, Elon's the real leader here. Jeff is more of a follower. Number 8. Elon is more idealistically driven than Jeff. If we look at what makes them tick, Jeff looks like more of a standard businessman, although we have to admit an incredibly innovative and ridiculously successful one. But fundamentally, he's driven by the idea of providing quality to customers and maximizing market share. And there's nothing wrong with that. Far from it. It's just that Elon's source of motivation seems to run a lot deeper. A huge amount of what he does, if not all of it, revolves around solving humanity's most pressing problems. And in some cases, he doesn't even care about helping his competitors if they have the same goal as him. Just look at the way he announced in 2014 that Tesla would allow other companies to use their renewable energy patents. His reason for this was to do whatever he could to speed up the development of electric cars and reduce the world's dependency on hydrocarbons. And what about his motivation for colonizing space? He says that is all about ensuring the long-term survival of the human race. Number 9. Elon is very wary of AI. Jeff is enthusiastic about it. It'll come as no surprise that Jeff is a big fan of artificial intelligence. After all, it was his company that created Alexa, and AI is one of Amazon's most important areas of innovation. He often talks about the possibilities of machine learning and says it has the potential to improve every business on the planet. For an example, we need to look no further than Amazon. The online retailing giant uses machine learning on its website for product recommendations. Elon, on the other hand, talks about how he sees machines becoming intelligent as one of the biggest threats to humanity. However, when we look deeper into it, Elon's take on AI does get a bit more complicated, because he founded OpenAI, a non-profit research company that aims to promote artificial intelligence. Confused? Well, his aim is to develop friendly AI that's beneficial for humanity, and to counteract big corporations that might gain too much power from superintelligence systems, and governments that might use it to oppress their citizens. Number 10. Jeff is richer. This one doesn't take long to figure out once you're aware that Jeff Bezos is actually the richest human in the world. And what the hell, let's say it. As far as we know, he's the richest individual in the universe. He claimed the top spot in 2017 when he overtook Bill Gates, and currently his net worth is over $150 billion. That means he's worth more than the GDP of more than half the countries in the world. Elon is worth around $40 billion. Sure, that's mind-bogglingly impressive by most people's standards, just maybe not by Jeff's standards. Number 11. Jeff invests a lot more widely than Elon. Yes, Elon puts money into the startups he's directly involved in. The most famous example is Tesla, but he doesn't provide funding for startups that he's not working on himself. And he says he has no interest in investing in the stock market. Jeff, on the other hand, does invest in the stock market, and he's funded numerous startups, and by the looks of things, he knows how to pick a winner. Some of the more famous success stories he's put money into are Airbnb and Uber, which means that his investment choices are just something else to explain his huge wealth. Number 12. Elon gives to more charitable causes. True, Jeff does make donations to charity, but it's often pointed out he makes far fewer donations than most of the super wealthy. Out of the 5 richest people in the USA, he's the only one who hasn't signed Bill and Melinda Gates' Giving Pledge, for which participants promise to give away half of their wealth during their lifetime or in their wills. Elon signed up for this in 2012, and ever the idealist started the Musk Foundation in 2002. This provides grants for a wide range of causes, which includes education in science and engineering, as well as childhood diseases. Number 13. Elon actually wants to settle down on Mars. Jeff doesn't. When it comes to Elon's plans for colonizing space, he's totally committed to jumping on board himself, literally, and he doesn't just plan to go to Mars. Given the length of the journey, there are slim chances of making it back to Earth, so he stated that his plan is to die on Mars. While Jeff hasn't said anything of the sort. Assuming he makes his space station on the moon in his own lifetime, the journey back should be quite a lot easier. After all, NASA did it more than 50 years ago. Number 14. Both are really tough bosses. But Jeff's been criticized a lot more for his management style. Both of them are known for being extremely demanding. If you're going to disrupt a huge industry, which they both have, or to colonize space, which they both aim to do, you're going to need to set some lofty goals, and you're bound to expect a lot from your staff. And it's well known that they both do. But while Elon seems to inspire a lot of loyalty, it's Jeff who's come into a lot more criticism for being a bad employer. In 2018, it was pointed out that a lot of his employees in the USA were using food stamps to survive. Not so cool, Jeff. And Amazon has been accused of tax avoidance and being anti-competitive. As for Elon, he's a tough boss, but he's especially known for being tough on himself, sometimes working 120-hour weeks, and will even sometimes sleep on the factory floor. Number 15. They've had differences of opinion on how to get to space. When we mean differences of opinion, what we really mean is arguments. Let's look at the time in 2013 when NASA vacated a launch pad and Elon and Jeff fought over it. In the end, Elon won and signed a 20-year lease. Jeff filed a complaint, although it didn't get anywhere. In 2014, they clashed again over the rights to patent rocket technologies. Once again, Elon won. Since then, they've had pissing matches over all kinds of things. Jeff has made fun of Elon because of his plans to go to Mars, which he doesn't think is possible, and Elon has ripped off the name of Jeff's Blue Moon lander, as well as accusing Jeff of basically copying everything he does. So, Aluxers, when it comes to their ambitions in space, will the two ever be able to collaborate? It doesn't really look likely right now, but we can't write it off. Remember, America and Russia ended up collaborating after 3 decades of space rivalry. If they can do that, there's no reason Jeff and Elon can't put their differences aside one day and explore space together. Now, before you go, Aluxers, we're curious. We'd love to know which of these hugely influential business leaders inspires you the most, and why. Let us know in the comments. And because you're still here with us, we can only assume you're waiting for that bonus. Here it is. It's well known that Elon and Jeff are both inspired by science fiction, but as with lots of other things, they do differ on one key point, specifically on a question that splits science fiction fans around the world: Star Wars or Star Trek? Jeff is a lifelong Star Trek fan, so much so in 2016 he fulfilled a childhood dream by appearing briefly in the movie Star Trek Beyond. But for Elon, it's most definitely Star Wars that wins. He said that the original Star Wars movie, the 1977 classic A New Hope, is his favorite sci-fi movie, as well as the first movie he ever saw when he was a kid. And it even inspired him to name SpaceX's Falcon rockets in homage to Star Wars' much-loved spacecraft, the Millennium Falcon. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, Alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.